Hello, everyone, and welcome to the halfway mark celebration for the Psalms Music Project. Today, we have reached 75 of the Psalms completed in both English and in Hebrew. And my name is Ryan, and I am the creator of the Psalms Music Project and also the founder of the Sanctuary for All. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you who've participated in the project, who've left comments, and who have shared these videos in their congregations, their churches, sometimes even in their schools and their personal lives amongst their friends. The Psalms were meant to be sung. And a lot of us grew up in churches or congregations where we heard kind of modern, updated versions of the Psalms where pieces were repeated, there were choruses made, they were designed to be very Christian oriented. But the Psalms themselves, from start to finish, all the way through, using instrumentation from 5,000 years ago, was what the goal of this project was almost right from the beginning. I mean, the first 10 English Psalms that we did, there was a couple of repeated lines, I think, especially in the first one, Psalm 1. But after that, it became crystal clear that what I really wanted to do here was take the entire Psalm from beginning to end and sing it through as best as possible, and then try and find exactly what instruments that we had back 5,000 years ago. And archaeological records have shown us, we can clearly see what type of instruments were available to David, to the chief musicians, to the musicians that were around at the time. The only thing we don't have is any kind of sheet music whatsoever about what these songs sounded like. Matter of fact, some of them that say, set to the lilies. We have no idea what the lilies sounded like. But when we, especially in the Hebrew, when we look at the rhyme and the meter and the way the song is laid out, we kind of get an idea of how best it works. And I want to thank all of you who have left comments. My Hebrew is not that great, but there are many of you out there who have left little comments here and there about one particular line was missing or a word is not pronounced properly. And that has allowed us to go back and redo the psalm and try and correct that error. And I want to say a special thanks to my buddy Chance, who has gone through and audited a great many of the psalms to make sure that they are respected and treated the way they should be treated. And that was the whole point of this entire project. I mean, for me, it is a deep honor to be able to present these and give them to everyone for free to use, to share, to do whatever they need to do. You can download MP3 files of every single one of the Psalms in the book forms. So like book 1 and book 2 is complete, and you can download all of them in both Hebrew and in English on the Sanctuary for All website. And there's links to that on each one of the Psalms that are there in those two books. And those are downloadable for free because these were given to us. And like I said, the Psalms are meant to be sung and straight through as they were. And that's what we're trying to do as best as we possibly can. Now, with the English, we kind of stuck primarily with the New King James Version of the way the Psalms are written. In Hebrew, we use the Masoretic text. And sometimes we do have to transliterate because they're not coming out the way they should, or there's some kind of issue with it. But the whole point is that we give each one of the Psalms the respect that they deserve and take the time to try and present it in the way it possibly could have been all those years ago with the instruments of the day, the temple instruments that were there. And David had music going 24/7. And it was a primary part, not only of his, basically his ministry, but his kingship. Music was an integral part of his spirituality and how he connected with God. And obviously we see in the Psalms that he was willing to share everything about himself, his anger at God, his resentments, his fears, his worries, his doubts, his sicknesses, his sins, his crimes. And he laid this all bare and open for all of us. And as I said, they were meant to be sung from the very beginning. So this project for me has been probably one of the most important works I've ever done in my life. Now, I've been a musician my whole life. Today what am I, 55 now? My first time in a recording studio, I was 16 years old. I was a heavy metal guitar player at the time, but I grew up hearing the Psalms and I loved the music to it. It captured my attention immediately as a young boy. And of course, before I got into playing guitar, I played the violin and was in orchestras. So, and I come from, I think, 10 generations of musicians. I got musicians all over our family. I have many uncles that are drummers, guitar players. My brother's a musician. My mother was an amazing singer. My father could just sit down and write a song on the spot. So I say all this just for the point that I take this work very seriously. I definitely want to make sure that each one of the Psalms is presented in a way that is respectful and honorable to the importance of the words that are there. I mean, they've been with us for thousands of years, and they deserve to be treated with honor and respect and reverence. So once again, I appreciate every single one of you who've given feedback and who have shared your thoughts about each one of the Psalms. It means a great deal to me because they are for everybody. And that is why I'm very glad that I've gotten reports from people where they play them on their big screen at their church and they sing along to the Psalms. I can't tell you what kind of a feeling that gives to me to be able to do this work today and bring the Psalms to life in the order they are and word for word as they are. It's just been amazing. And here that we're at 75, I want to thank all of you also for being patient. I think we finished 75 about a week and a half ago. But I decided I needed to take a little break. As I was getting towards that halfway mark, I was feeling pressure to get there. It was exciting. And I realized I need to stop once again, do a lot of prayer and meditation, seek God's guidance and counsel in these Psalms, and get back to just the patient observance of presenting these and putting them together in a way that is most beautiful and that I think everybody will like. Now, obviously, some people won't, but a lot of people didn't even like them back when David wrote them. It was there was a lot of weird considerations going on back in that time, but he was bold and he shared them all with us. And to keep them preserved and alive today is the goal of the Psalms Music Project, to at one point have all the Psalms in the original Hebrew and also in English, every single one of them presented with music straight through. And then, of course, we're also, there's a few Latin ones. I was just kind of playing around with it, but I've decided we're going to also then do all the Latin, and we may even get into doing the Greek versions of the Psalms too. That one is a little bit trickier and difficult to do, but it may be something that is in the future. I'm excited about what's coming up. We have some of the most popular Psalms there are in the whole next second half. One of them, Psalms 119, is going to be broken up into 5 different parts. Now, I don't know if it'll be 5 movements of the same piece so that it's 30 minutes long, or if it'll be 5 different songs. But that is a tremendously deep and rich psalm. And I'm excited about when we get there, but I know I'll have the answers then about how to handle it by the time we reach that psalm. But some of our most popular psalms are coming up, and the growth that the channel has had has just warmed my heart and made me, there were times I felt like I needed to quit. Who am I to think I can do this? And suddenly somebody will comment about how they needed that psalm, or they play them at work during the day and it helps them stay centered. And I realized that, none of this is about me. It's about what was given to us. And if there's anything that I can do to add the reverence that it deserves, I'm willing to do that. And the more I can separate myself from it. And, one of the processes I have is before each psalm, I actually pray for guidance on how the music should be. how it should be sung. I've tried to be bold because David was bold. There's a few psalms where the male singer is crying out, uh, and other times they're very soft. I have tried to use a lot of different harmonies and melodies to try and capture the emotional importance of the psalm. Some of them are very, very sad, and so the music tries to reflect that. But the great thing is we're sticking to the temple instruments of the day as best we can. And sometimes you'll hear something that maybe could sound like it was a violin or something. It's actually a mixture of a couple of different instruments. And but being classically oriented and rock and roll oriented, I like to see what I can do with instrumentation to really kind of bring out the flavor of each song. But the most important part here is that these are for the whole world. These psalms were left to us for everybody. And we read them and we can feel them. But to hear them sung, to hear the breath in them, to hear the life behind the words, to hear the passion to them, to hear the emotion set into their intent, instead of just making a commercialized, verse, chorus, bridge, modern Christian song, but to actually try and capture some of the feelings of those days. It has been profound. There have been times where I myself have bawled my eyes out at hearing back the psalm over and over again, and the excitement that comes across within me when I go to upload the video. And one of the neat things is I really like how in the Hebrew I just scroll the Hebrew, and in the English I've been copying and pasting each line in there. But I'm thinking about possibly just scrolling the English also. We'll see, because that seems to be something that people really actually enjoy. But I do want to say that, once again, these Psalms are for free, and they are for you. Use them anywhere you think they need to be used. Now, there is a donation link on every single Psalm for anybody who wishes to contribute, and there have been a few people who have. And like I said, one of the times I was going to quit. And somebody sent like $40 and said, "Thank you so much for doing these Psalms." And that was the morning I was going to quit. The fact that others have shared what these mean to them has meant everything to me. And has reminded me, once again, like I said, that this isn't actually about me. I myself get to participate in enjoying the work and the passion and the honesty and the integrity of David and those who wrote the Psalms and the musicians that put effort into them then, and the interpretations we have of them now. It is a great and humbling work. And I will continue to do this work until we have all of the Psalms complete. I don't know where they'll go from there. I may possibly go back and do some remixing of some of the early Psalms. I just did not master as well as I believe they could. We've gotten better as time has gone on. We'll see. So even when the work is done, there'll be more work to do. And I just want to say I'm so happy that we got to this halfway point, and I'm grateful I was able to take a little bit of time to pray and meditate again and to recenter and get started on the next portion. I mean, we're into book 3. Book 3 isn't that long compared to the 2 we just did. So we still have book 3, book 4, and book 5 to do of the Psalms. But what's ahead of us now are some of the most beautiful works. There are Psalms that are difficult. There are Psalms that are aggressive. and some of the things in them that in our culture and our world today, you know, wouldn't be something that we would probably want to sing. But it is important to preserve this work. It is important to preserve these words. It is important, I believe, definitely, to try and continue to present them in a way that possibly they were heard so long ago. And I'm ever so grateful to all of you who have been a part of this and who have shared in it. And please continue to offer them to others and to let everybody else hear them, because, like I said, they were meant for all of us. They express the human condition in our struggle to develop a relationship with God, a trust with God, a trust with our conception of God, to discover what matters in life and what doesn't matter in life, to express the triumphs and the agonies of our experience as human beings. And very few did that as well as David did. And so hopefully all of that is coming across in the music and in the work that we're trying to do. And like I said, I just wanted to say at this halfway point, thank you so much to all of you who've been a part of this and who has offered your feedback and your support and your kind words from all over the world. All over the world, people have been commenting. And it is truly humbling and awe-inspiring. And I'm ever so grateful to be able to put everything of all my musical experience in my entire life into this. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this work. And please continue to comment. Continue to let me know when something could possibly be a little bit better. And when there is an important thing to change, we will get to it and we will change it. And because in the end, we want to make sure we have the entirety of the Psalms in the best possible manner they can be today. Later on, some great composer may do an even greater work with all of these, but today this is what we have. And I just thank you so much for taking this journey with me and allowing me to be a part of your lives in that way, and allowing me to share with you the great and wonderful Psalms that were left to us so long ago that we all can embrace today and in our own journeys in developing a love for our neighbors and a love for our God. Thank you very much.